These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Christine Stanwood with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Surprise police investigating a shooting that left a man with serious injuries at a party late Tuesday night. This happening around 10 last night near Loop 303 and Cactus Road. Officials say a group of people between the ages of 14 and 20 were attending a house party at the time of the shooting. Now, it's unclear what led to those shots being fired, but police say a 19-year-old suspect is now in custody. New today, the Sweet James chopper over a Mesa neighborhood. Take a look here. This is as crews responded to a garbage truck fire. It happened a little before 8 near Southern and Mesa Drive. Crews were able to evacuate those nearby homes while the fuel in the truck burned off. Thankfully, no reported injuries. It was around this time just yesterday we were reporting on a 10-year-old boy who collapsed while hiking South Mountain. We know he was airlifted to the hospital, but sadly, the boy, now identified as Cortinez Logan, did not make it. Phoenix police are now looking into Logan's death. We caught up with Phoenix firefighters today who say they train regularly for high heat rescues. The department has already responded to 134 rescues through June. They want everyone to stay off trails during the hottest parts of the day.
It's extremely dangerous. That's why we emphasize, please, if you are going to hike in the cooler parts of the day. That's usually early in the morning or the late afternoon.
Certain trails close when there's an excessive heat warning. Yesterday, though, didn't meet that criteria. Coming up at 5, what it takes to reach that status and why some trails, including South Mountain, remain open even when that warning is given. The abortion rights issue is one step closer to possibly getting on the ballot this November. Arizona for Abortion Access dropping off more than 820,000 signatures to the Secretary of State's office. That's more than double the requirement, but a surplus is typically needed to pass the signature verification process. So if this does get on the ballot, voters would decide on adding an amendment to Arizona's Constitution to allow abortions until a fetus is viable, which is typically around 24 weeks. But those opposed to this say the language is too vague and could hurt women and girls.
Enshrining bad law into the Arizona state constitution is not going to end the argument of abortion, because there are a lot of people that feel very differently as to where that limit is.
Every pregnancy is different. Every woman deserves a chance to appropriate care, not dangerous restrictions.
So coming up at 5, we're going to take a closer look at those next steps and how this could get onto the ballot. As you get ready to host your loved ones and fire up that grill tomorrow, Health Insiders want to share important tips to make sure your 4th of July feast is served safely. Kenneth King is a food inspector with the USDA, and he says one of the most common mistakes is cross-contamination. So just take extra care to make sure raw meat and the surfaces it's prepared on never interact with ready-to-eat foods like chips, veggies, or desserts. You should also keep a food thermometer handy to make sure any meat that you're grilling gets cooked to the proper temperature. You should also serve cold dishes on ice, pop them back in the fridge if they've been out longer than 2 hours. Okay, how about some good news for your summer road trip? Right now, drivers are seeing the cheapest 4th of July gas prices in 3 years. Right now, the national average is at $3.50 a gallon. But let's take a look at the Valley. The average today is just a bit higher at $3.55. A station here in the Valley has it at just $3.19 a gallon. If you're interested to find out where, head to abc15.com/gas.
The excessive heat returns to the Valley for several days. I'm meteorologist Jorge Torres, and your Independence Day forecast starting off very hot at 90 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's our forecast low, and we sizzle in the afternoon on the 4th of July holiday with a high of 115, and we expect those temperatures to continue to stay around 115 through the rest of the week and into the weekend and early next week too. Even toasty up in the high country, calling for a high of 90 degrees in Flagstaff under warm, dry, and breezy conditions. And those warnings in effect across not just the Valley, but throughout much of the state, from southern and western Arizona through parts of the Grand Canyon in northern Arizona, where we're forecasting forecasting highs in Flagstaff up to 90, 100 in Page, 107 in Kingman, and 110 plus from Casa Grande to Phoenix to Lake Havasu City and Bullhead City too. That 7-day forecast showing those temperatures not really cooling down at all, even with rain chances back in the forecast next week. Flagstaff will keep those highs in the 90s through at least Tuesday with a chance of rain back by Sunday.